Texas Public. Can't ask for better weather. It's like 43, overcast, and I like this spot a lot. There's a lot of different habitat transitions that come together here, and the cameras have been showing some nice bucks in this area. Does have been there all day, which is kind of spooky, but if we can get in there and get set up without running them off too far, we can stand a good chance of seeing a buck. I'm gonna take it slow so we don't sweat, even though it's cold. Dude, we got kind of a long walk going in. Front left right here. Yeah, they're coming in. Coming to your left. I mean, we're 15 yards off of what we should be, probably. It's so close. I don't know what the footage is like, but that was a big deer. At least that's what Greg says. And I believe him. I was watching those does, and he couldn't see them. They were locked in. I knew there was a deer coming. And as Greg says, big buck, I could see their heads doing this, following the buck. And our wind's going that way, right? And he gets to back here, their heads are following him, and I'm like, man, it's gonna be cutting it close. And all of a sudden, I can hear him running off. Probably just a smart old buck, just trying to come in downwind of these does and smell.
Hey, so, I told you that deer winded us, right? We just watched the footage, and Greg was kind of unsure when I was talking to him in the tree, but where I thought he was and winded us was not where he was. We watched the footage back. The deer legit walks in on footage for at least a minute, probably. He's walking and never once sees the does that are near us.
That's weird.
And he starts heading north, like shouldn't be able to get our wind any better than he would have when he was, like when he gets done heading east, he starts heading north. He's going around the end of this deadfall tree, right?
I know exactly which tree you're talking about.
Yeah. He's going around the end of it from the south, heading north. He shouldn't be able to get our wind. He's actually further west than I thought he was. He comes around the end of that thing, and I almost promise you he sees those does for the first time and it freaks him out. I don't think he smelled us, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
Gives me some promise.
Why, is that just a thing that deer do more often than we realize?
I think so.
Back here, same spot as last night. I've got a lot of confidence. It's a cold morning. We're in here deep. Deer have been on camera. They were in there last night after we left. We got to stand set up. We just got to get in there, hang everything up, sit still, let the woods calm down, and hopefully we'll shoot them kind of J-hooking into that area to check does this morning along that transition line. That's the hope. 120 yards probably. They just in every direction. We finally picked a tree. We got like a real shady wind in here, which could be good, I guess. We're in a very conservative tree here, but I do have some good shots out of it, I think. It's a little bit wide open skyline, but I think it's gonna work. We're gonna get up real quiet, real quick, and just get ready for the evening and try to get as quiet and still as possible, as soon as possible. Hang number 2 for the afternoon. Greg and I talked and we decided that if the wind is gonna just drift to the west, then we might as well hunt aggressively on the west side where all the deer are coming in. But I'm trying to blow my wind at a big deadfall back over here, hoping that if they're splitting the deadfall, we get to shoot them before they get here. Is a tough pass right there. Looked like a just beautiful 3-year-old buck, but it would have made me real happy, I can promise you that. I didn't have my release on, nothing. He might have heard us scratching around this tree and come in, but either way, I bet we see him again tonight, but I'm hoping that that bigger buck that's been on camera will be in here.
Chocolate shake.
Medium?
Sure, thank you.
And what else, right?
That's gonna be it.
Alright, we are probably halfway in, maybe a little more. This is like a 1.25-mile stretch. We've already done probably 1.25 miles or so. It's a long ways in here. We're heading to the spot we hunted last night. There was a big buck in there about 9, 10 o'clock. So hopefully he'll make his rounds back through. rock or a doe based off its blow, but it's definitely had some depth to it. That makes me just want to not hunt for a few days. I didn't bring very many clothes in because it was a long ways. Didn't want a heavy pack taking stuff out of here. B, I thought I was fixing to shoot that deer, but came in, looked pretty young, and his tides kind of splayed out. And I think the way that his rack looked, he looked wider than he actually was. His beams were not to the ears, really, to the ear tips. I just don't know if he was going to make, he might have made 13 inches, but I don't know. So, gave him the pass, I guess. He gave us the slip. But, it was really cool. I mean, I'm juiced up right now, like I'm shaking bad. We knew it wouldn't be easy, or at least we thought it probably wouldn't be. Lots of pressure on these public lands here in Texas, but it was cool to do a different hunt, kind of out of our normal range, our normal pocket, and we had a couple close calls. It was exciting, but maybe back down in the area later on. I don't know if I'll be able to make it down or not. We got actually quite a bit more hunting to do. One of these days I'm going to kill a palmetto buck. Until then, I don't even know. I've hunted in Nikes before, but not in East Texas. It's been a while. I'm glad to be here. It doesn't look great, the prospects that is, from the trail cameras, but there's one buck in here that's worth shooting. Kind of a weird dude. Michael also has a chance to shoot a doe potentially, so we're trying to figure out if we can make that work. It's pretty much going to be ground game in here because on this wind, the trees just don't work very well. There's too many of these little cedar elms and hackberries and stuff like that, so I'm trying to figure it out real quick before it gets daylight. That's on the same line of travel that we're hunting. There's a song by Gary Allan, something like "I Get Off on the Pain" or something like that. I think that's me. I feel good to be here on Texas Public, just fighting all the other orange people. I don't have orange on. I was actually told that we didn't have to wear orange in the tree, so by the game warden. Thank you, Mr. Game Warden, for being logical. Anyway, we got one target here. I mean, you never know what happens, right? It's still November. It's the 29th. It's going to be like 75 today. It's pretty good weather for Texas. Overcast. It's supposed to be misty. We're sitting on a creek. I mean, it's November. They could do it. They could walk right down this creek. There's crossing trails on a secondary creek crossing right here. That's what we're hunting. The main trail is like 40 over here. Actually, about 35 where it crosses. It kind of scoots out this way. I've got a shot at like 45. Spooky McWilliams on an East Texas buck. Hopefully they come down one of these crossings right here. I heard an acorn drop earlier. I think the post oaks are probably dropping a little bit still. We're in a Shumard. This thing hasn't put off in years. Last time I was here was like 2017 in this tree, and we had a buck come through just zombie mode on the 17th, I think it was, in November. So we're about 10, 12 days later, and we're still gonna kill a deer, I think. I still feel it, you know. And then by tonight, my attitude will probably have changed, but let's just live in this moment right now, in our element. not legal. We have antler restrictions here in Texas. They have to be a certain width, and he's just not there, just not quite. I probably would have been really happy to shoot that deer, to be honest. That's a win out here. Just like Michael said, just to have that encounter at 20 yards like that, that's a win. He was up on us before we even knew it, though. The ground's kind of wet, and they're just super quiet walking through the stuff, so we keep our eyes peeled and get back at it. Sounded in here. Trees and cover. It's a flat bottom. And out in that open country rattling, there's no. You can't hear it bouncing back to you. You feel like it's just so quiet. Little buck. That was exciting. Good old East Texas, I'm sure you all got to see a lot of that. It was like a 1 or 2 year old chasing a doe, probably a 2-year-old, judging by body size. Frigid, dude. Frigid. Back! 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 It's a freaking doe. Okay. Is he still out there? Yeah, he's still chasing her. That was a toad. If she hadn't seen me get my bow, she might have would have came right here and he would have came by, but you gotta get your bow.
When she started coming, I was like, alright, be careful, it's the doe.
Yeah.
But you gotta get it.
He's around.
Yeah, things are happening.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of something.
Grab, dude. He was right through there. There's a big bug.
I 100% expected a spike behind.
that doe. Or just if there's other bucks around, knowing that the action's going on. He smells what they eat. It's weird. Used to see. You heard that grunt. Barely acting like he even. There he goes. I think we saw those sticks or something.
Yeah. You started smelling ground sound.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
He's still over there, messing around. It's just fun to shoot them when they're close.
I was trying to talk myself into it. But knowing that giant's over there, I don't want to mess anything up.
Maybe he'll go over there and bump him up. See, did you see where he crossed?
Yeah.
That's the crossing that they usually use. That's a weird way for him to cruise. I wonder if he got on their scent or something. I think he gave those grunts.
Possibly.
It's kind of weird that he like never acknowledged them. Like he had his nose on the ground the whole time.
But he was like, okay, I guess I'll come over and check.
Yeah. He looked up at me right there, but didn't do anything. Oh, I just need one 3 years older than that to do the same thing. That's one of the craziest mornings I've had on Texas Public. One of my best hunts ever. It kind of shows like how good it is, or how important pressure is. We got 2 cameras on this place, and we've seen a decent amount of shooter bucks, but no patterns really. But just haven't seen a dude in here at all on camera. And saw the biggest buck I've probably ever seen from the stand on Texas Public today. So kind of stinks, but I can only hunt the morning hunt. My wife got sick last night, so I'm gonna have to go home, but Greg's gonna hold it down and see if he can't shoot a deer. But I got about another 45 minutes in here, and I like this mid-morning time on Texas Public. Once the sun starts to get kind of high, the deer start trying to find a hole. So I still have a lot of confidence in the next 45 minutes. Ow. Right in the eyeball. Oh, that was terrible. Oh. Bruise. It's looking pretty bad already.
There you go, Mark. Dude, you can have a rattling blooper reel.
I know. Come it. camera on that levee right there and had a teenager on it in the daytime, walking this lane right here one time. I see a turkey over there. It's got a pretty fresh track here too, isn't it?